Except for parents, no one wants you to live better, especially the closest people who are polite and wonderful on the outside, who say congratulations, but who hold a knife in their heart to stab you in the back. The saddest thing is that after overcoming all the difficulties on the outside, you are stabbed in the back by the closest person. The greatest enemy in life is not the obvious guns, but the cruel hidden arrows from the people close to you. What I say is not easy to absorb, so remember to watch until the end to grasp it. Ancient education greets you and everyone. The poor eat animals and plants. The rich eat the poor. Remember this saying. In this world, besides those who are truly enthusiastic, there are only two types of people who will propagate about humanity and morality all day long. The first type is the hypocritical and extremely intelligent. The second type is the weak, confused and desperate. The tragic world of the weak, because the weak are already too tragic to be hurt anymore. They only imagine an ideal world in their heads, wholeheartedly wanting to build a paradise on earth, so they strongly propagate morality. A great man once said that no snowflake is pure. Indeed, the weak are just weak. They never thought that in the past thousands of years, among those winners, there was no one who was completely pure, but those weak people just wanted to escape reality. What we teach, only the masters can understand. Some weak people say that what we teach is too difficult. They do not agree. It is not that they do not agree, but they know that they are not capable enough to learn and use. They are afraid that others will learn these things that are too strong to deal with them, so they are there to call on everyone not to learn anymore. According to the logic of the weak, should women's cosmetics also be opposed because it increases the possibility of men committing crimes? You should not see a knife and hate it and call on everyone not to use knives anymore. Good people use knives to save the suffering and the needy. The motivation and the secret behind morality, like when the weak see what we teach is too strong, they are afraid that they and their fellow human beings will become victims, so they put forth theories of morality and humanity, hoping to control the circulation of that strong ideology. When the strong see our strong things, they also do not hope many people can learn, so they also put forth theories of morality and humanity to prevent the circulation of that ideology. Their actions are the same, but their purposes are different. The purpose of the strong is that they want to control the circulation of our ideology so they can hide alone in a cave to learn from the protectors of the Tao and the imposters of the Tao. Two types of people. The first type is called the protectors of the Tao. The second type is called the imposters of the Tao. The so-called protectors of the Tao are the naive protectors of morality. They spend all day propagating morality and humanity to save the suffering and the needy. They only think about the ideal world. In the real business war, they still live in a dream world. The weak type of people do not know they are weak. This type of people can only be described with 4 words, claiming to be noble and rewarding. The most pitiful thing about this type of people is that when they lose, they do not know themselves where is wrong, where is lose. When others harm them, they Still want to forgive the strong who harmed them? Oh, these people only need to learn our 3 levels of Kung Fu, then they can earn a lot of money. Great man Gandhi said the classic saying, mice are not qualified to forgive cats in the business war. They suffer enough harassment from others not paying debts, are attacked. They do not have any qualifications to talk about forgiveness, also do not have the qualifications to talk about tolerance. Many women sneak up on other women to steal their husbands. Hope to be able to kill the fox spirit, but I ask you, what is the use of killing that spirit? No, you killed the white fox spirit. Can you guarantee your husband will not have an affair after killing the white fox spirit? Still has the red fox spirit. How many can you kill? They should not hate the lover and the fox spirit, but should hate themselves for not having enough strength. These guardians of this religion believe that they are purer than anyone. They are more suitable, when in the mountains the reality of the business war is completely unsuitable for them. More interesting, they still feel they have enough qualifications and authority to criticize themselves. They still feel they have enough wisdom to teach you what is right and what is wrong. The minds of these Taoists are quite simple. They believe that the world has only 2, either black or white, or light or darkness, so they become messengers of light all day long, light to the point of being able to kill people. Some of these Taoists constantly spread their ideas to others with the hope of creating a world of unity, so that everyone believes that they are good people, and they believe that they can use their values to control the masses. Fake Taoists are different from Taoists. Taoists do not understand human nature, so they are misguided and blindly deceive you. Fake Taoists understand human nature to take advantage of BN. Fake. This hypocrite constantly spreads the ideology of humanity to you just to make everyone believe that he is a good person, and then easily harms you. The most annoying thing is that he spreads about humanity all day long. So after he harms you, you will still forgive him. This hypocrite, whose mouth waves morality from the outside, looks like a good person, but in fact they just want to play the role of a good person. Everyone knows that the most sophisticated deceivers all have the most simple appearance. He also spreads moral ideology to you for a long time with the purpose of making you easier to deceive, so that he can easily go out. TNG refer to the music of the movie, The Smiling, Proud Wanderer. For example, when you are doing business, if the other party says every 3 sentences that the most important thing in business is honesty, I do business very frankly. What is mine is mine. What is not mine is not mine. If the other party says many similar sentences, you must be extremely wary of that person. For example, if your friends keep repeating that I actually have nothing to worry about what you do, like that, but I'm telling the truth, really he's very concerned about it. If he really doesn't care, why does he keep telling you that he doesn't care? Someone who really doesn't care won't say anything. Or you often hear others say, I'm a very straightforward person, I've never lied to anyone. I'm a very moral person. If they keep repeating that kind of sentence more than 3 times, then you should be wary of them. If someone tells you that there is no silver 300 taels here, then there is definitely 600 taels of silver there. Suppose someone is currently asking you to borrow money, and that person keeps emphasizing that you trust me, I won't lie to you, I will definitely pay you next month. Are you still afraid that I won't pay? If they say so much, you should be wary the purpose of them Keeping emphasizing is to reassure you only when you are reassured can they get that money. Friends who understand a little about human nature all know that the more a person promises you, the harder it is for them to repay their debt. It's even possible if someone keeps telling you how good they will be to you in the future, what benefits they will bring you in the future, what great hopes they have for you. In such a situation, if you want to distinguish whether the other person is telling the truth or lying, you need to ask yourself what they have given you during the communication process. You have noticed that many people talk very well, but if you think carefully, you will see that people who talk more and more and do less are hypocrites. When you cannot distinguish whether a person is good or bad, do not rely on what they say, but rely on what they do. If a man tells a woman that if you stay with me, I will give you a car, do not care about his promise. See what he has given you now, what then decide whether to believe him or not, or you can frankly tell him that you give me the car first, then I will consider. People who are deceived by hypocrites often just listen to their good words without seriously verifying their behavior. Suppose a customer tells you that he is a friend of the CEO of a big company and will later introduce many resources to you. He also tells you that he will buy 10,000 boxes of your product next year. But on the day of ordering, he says he only needs 100 boxes temporarily. Then you must be extremely careful with this person. The bigger the difference between a person's promises and actual actions, the higher the possibility that he is a scammer. Good people often say they are bad people. Bad people often say they are good people. Perfect people are definitely problematic. Their shortcomings are definitely being deliberately hidden. A person who seems to have obvious flaws is relatively more realistic. Open your eyes in this world. Truth tellers often look like villains, but many villains disguise themselves as a gentleman. If this is your first time coming into contact with our ideology, you may find it a little hard to accept, but I can tell you that feeling is right. When you gradually learn more, you will realize that you can feel the wonderful taste from the evil in human nature. Because whatever you hate is what you lack, and also what you need to open your eyes to understand humanity and see the cold world. It sounds scary, right? When I was young, I watched a lot of martial arts movies. In my heart, there were only two characters, the hero and the bad guy, clearly black and white. When I grew up, I realized that the world is not as simple as martial arts movies. There are no good people. Absolutely, there are no bad people. Lao Tzu said that if the water is too clear, there will be no fish. In fact, beyond black and white, there is also a region of peace. This gray area is the key to success, why many entrepreneurs fail. In the market, most people pursue peace of mind, pursue conscience. When faced with profits, often choose ethics. You can observe Edison's dark history. He was simply a businessman. Many patents he bought back, not invented by himself. Edison was lost in lawsuits all his life. You can understand what's behind Edison's work. Abroad is classy. Many successful people, when they go public, tell how they succeeded, but you absolutely Don't believe what you need to learn is how they made their first money. Why many bosses are guilty of original sin. This guilty of original sin often happens when they make their first money. The venom of jealousy in human nature. People let go accepting strangers better than you rather than letting close friends be better. When meeting strangers who are better or far superior to you will be jealous, admiring, surrendering, flirting when meeting close friends who are better or far superior to you or a little more than me will be jealous, hateful, malicious. Most of human suffering is not because of poverty but because of seeing someone close to me surpass me. Uncomfortable, cannot accept this kind of people. Stupid to the point of even contempt. I would like to tell a true story that happened in Sichuan, China. There was a couple who loved each other very much. For 12 consecutive years they had to endure great blows in the past 12 years. Each time they gave birth less than 3 years. All 3 previous children died tragically or due to poisoning or due to emergency, not being able to save in time when they put all their efforts into taking care of the 4th child. But the tragedy still happened in 2008. The child was not even 3 years old, also passed away. What kind of couple can go through such a terrible ordeal in the world? They asked the police for help. After the investigation, the police ruled out the accident, determined it was intentional murder. The final result of the investigation, the culprit was their sister-in-law. When confessing the crime, this rural woman with the stereotype face without any emotion said a sentence: "You keep giving birth to many sons while I only give birth to daughters. I don't like it when human jealousy reaches a certain level. Anger flares up inside is more terrible than what you imagine. They can throw away all the close feelings, morality, boundaries in the heart. Just scream, what I don't have you can't have. Just because you live a little better than me you are guilty. Except for parents, no one wants you to live better, especially the closest people on the outside. Polite and wonderful mouth say congratulations, but in their heart hold a knife to stab you in the back. The saddest thing is, after overcoming all the difficulties outside you, are stabbed in the back by the closest person. The biggest enemy in life is not the obvious guns, but the cruel hidden arrows from the close people. Jealousy, greed, and human nature, when pushed to the extreme, makes people have to use. You can trust people, but don't trust human nature. Human trust cannot endure the challenge. When facing the real challenge, you yourself cannot face yourself. Doubt is always safer than trust. Since ancient times there has been no emperor without heavy suspicion. Cao Cao and Chu Yuanzhang were willing to kill unjustly rather than trust humanity. If the opponent is weaker than you, are inferior to you, are more miserable than you will sincerely hope they become better, because it is an emotion that includes pride and compassion. High, if the opponent achieves success before you or surpasses you, you will feel extremely miserable, because the feeling of pride of the winner has lost. Your best friend failed the exam, you will feel very sad. Your best friend got the highest score, you will feel even sadder. Who is not like that? That is the dark side of human nature. Don't keep praising beauty and goodness all day long without knowing that you are stupid, and sing stupid songs everywhere to teach others. Don't tell others about happy things, because they will not be happy but only jealous of you. Also do not tell them about sad things. Baho will not pity but only mock you. Control human nature. Fearless then wise Shanghai boss Du Noyet XH at first, when he returned to Shanghai, was just a poor, skinny teenager, working as a servant in the famous mansion of Hong Kim Vin, the boss of Tongang Hoi. So how did a normal teenager become the boss of the Shanghai Bund? because Du Noyet Zan discovered the secret of human nature. Once Hong Tsong Quan Mansion was robbed by a robber at that time. The owner wanted the servant to chase the robber, but no one dared because he knew the person who dared to rob the Hong family was definitely a cruel robber. Finally, by accident, the owner called Du Noyet Zan out to change the capture. And foolishly he chased alone, unexpectedly caught the thief. When he met the robber, Du Noyet Zan very scared, but in the moment of facing the moonlight he saw a great secret of this world on the face of the thief. That was the look of extreme panic. The robber thought that this person must be a top assassin of their family to dare to chase alone in extreme panic. In just a flash the robber was caught by Du Noyet Zan. Scared Du Noyet. Green. Like a coincidence, in this world there are countless smart people, countless people with thoughts, countless people with abilities, countless people with high education, countless fluent people. But why can there really be so few success? This is why, because in the heart of the fearful there are two opposing forces, that is reason and fear. When a person is afraid, their intelligence is basically zero. That night Du Noyet Green on the cold and deserted long street of Shanghai finally understood this world. In the Hong Mansion there are many heroes and great cons, like the painted dragon and the real Hoju. All were made by fear, that no one dared to act against robbers just because they are too scared, and the robbers are actually also afraid of death, afraid of being found by the most fearless assassin in the royal palace. Turns out this world is a world of cowards. Du Noyet Zan laughed. Then everyone is afraid like that. What am I afraid of? Before he thought he was too small, not knowing what to do in the future. In his heart there was a lot of confusion. Now he understood, actually everyone is confused like him, and because of these confusions their intelligence is reduced. Everyone yearns for a strong person to appear to show them the direction and make decisions, and they just need to follow that person to do whatever that person says. So too many people yearn for the appearance of a strong person. Why don't I become that strong person? This world is the one with the guts to rule the cowards, the brave people. The sky rules the brave people. I will talk about borrowing money. Recently a video of a woman kneeling down to collect debt online has become popular because the relationship with her friends was very good. Her friends borrowed 2 billion VND from her and she agreed because of the good relationship. She did not make any documents after borrowing. On the day of repayment, her friend disappeared and could not be contacted. Finally, the woman who owed money was stopped on a street and demanded the debt right on the street. And the woman who owed money firmly affirmed that she did not have the money. The woman who borrowed money really had no choice but to kneel down on the street, begged the woman who owed money, saying, "You do not need to pay me 2 billion. You pay me 1.5 billion is really like the real version. The lender is porridge and the person who owes money is you. Do not borrow money from others. This will make you lose the habit of saving, and you should not lend money to others because you will not only lose the initial capital but also lose your friends. If you value your friendship, it is best not to have any economic transactions. Do not lend money to others because in this borrowing of money, there is a very common phenomenon. That is those who often borrow money will not pay. Friends can say, I also know the other party's ability to pay is very low, but because of face reasons it is very awkward. Most people are afraid of being borrowed money by friends and relatives. When others ask you to borrow money, will you lend or not? If you are someone who does not refuse easily, you will easily become someone who lends them money without interest time after time. And the worst thing for people is that there will be a first time, there will be a second time, there will be a third time, there will be countless times. Actually, from the perspective of human feelings, friends, relatives in trouble, so lend money to help. This is something that cannot be refused, but most people have the experience that after lending money to others, the other person's problem is solved, but their daily life becomes uncomfortable. You ask them to pay back, you feel uncomfortable. Don't ask them to pay back. They do not take the initiative. Actually, lending money to others is shifting the other person's problem to you. Hard work without getting what I have. A husband and wife, they do work in Fujian, work 20 years, save about 7 billion. They work at their brother's company because of family relationships, so the treatment is not bad. This couple are both honest people, have no experience in business, so have suffered a lot of losses. This billion, they bought a house in Jiangxi, buy a car, spend 2 billion, the remaining 5 billion what they planned to do. Most of it was borrowed by relatives and friends because in the countryside is too poor. Just whoever has money, people will rush to borrow. Last year, a friend of hers lost a bet and asked to borrow money. I was borrowed by everyone to the point that there was not much money left. Really did not want to lend. Called to ask me what to do. Asked me if there is no good way for her to refuse. I directly told her refuse others. No need any skills, just one word, no. Then my aunt immediately said doing so is not very good. Then keep asking me if there is no better way to refuse. You know, why would I dare not say no, because she is afraid of hurting feelings. I told her if she still wants to be friends with that person, then she has to refuse them. If she does not lend money, her and the other person can still be friends. Suppose they do not contact her because they do not lend money, then this friend does not need to be kept. In reality, friends, because you do not lend money but do not contact you is too little. On the contrary, friends do not contact you because you have lent them money. A person who does not know how to refuse is an immature person who does everything, cares about the feelings of others forever lives. In the eyes of others, if you do not know how to refuse people, others will often bother you. Eventually will become a stupidly good person. You will find that the vast majority of people when borrowing money speak softly and sweet words, but when the money is in their hands their attitude will change 180 degrees and still lingering not paying. If you chase them a little bit, the other party is even more upset. You may even blame you. I have money not to pay you right away. Why are you in such a hurry? The result is making you so angry that you say the classic saying, consider me blind. Did not expect you to be that kind of person. Just consider me. Spending a few million to see clearly a person is also worth it. Actually, it is just self-comfort. When going in the Zhang Ho, the relationship gradually dissolves between friends. Most start from borrowing money. When someone borrows money from you, you are the emperor, they are the slave of money. Once you have lent, when it is time to collect the debt, they are the lord. You are a beggar. In psychology, there is a concept called the loss effect. Research found that people feel pain when losing something. compared to the joy they receive when they have that thing is 2.5 times greater, meaning if you lose 1 million, that painful feeling needs to pick up 2.5 million to be able to balance. Do you think the company rewards you 1 million? How long will you be happy? If you are fined 1 million, how long will you suffer the loss? Effect is human instinct to be able to ensure that borrowing must be paid back, need to have strong discipline to overcome this instinct. People who borrow money often because they do not manage their own finances well basically is a manifestation of lack of self-discipline. So we can draw a conclusion: to make the borrower pay is to force a person who is not self-disciplined to do something that requires self-discipline. To be able to do this is the reason why in real life there are people who borrow money and do not pay back. An adult starts from refusing because they know that they are limited time, limited energy, limited money, limited, must put limited resources where the greatest benefit is born to. Psychological methods when refusing others: first, use the most concise language to refuse others. Second, do not be afraid that refusing will offend others. When others ask you to borrow money, or you say it directly without letting the other person have any thoughts. Any other, if you have a friend in trouble and ask you for help, if you really want to help that friend, the first thing you have to do is give them 10 million dong before they can say anything. Tell them, here is 10 million, you take it to manage. I can only help up to here, the rest you take care of yourself. Note that this amount is certainly within your ability and will, however, you need to prepare mentally. The money you give to your friend is not a loan but a gift. When you tell your friend, you say it is a loan, but in your heart you should think of it as charity. Like that, if your friend does not pay you back, you will not be angry or sad, because from the beginning you thought they would not pay. If by chance they do pay back that amount, then all the better. You consider it a lottery win when you thought that the person you lent money to will have difficulty paying you back, but you still lent them. That is the pinnacle of lending. While you are completely desperate about human nature but still want to help others, this is true help. If that friend repaying your joy will be even greater. Of course, you should not borrow from others, because that not only loses part of the friendship but also shows the outside that your work is having difficulties. In the situation of lack of capital, do not rush to buy a house, buy a car, or luxury things that will push you into a serious financial difficulty that makes you not dare to learn, not dare to choose a company with more development prospects, not dare to start a business and finally be poor all your life.